Welcome to Kickstarter Radio 1 and 2.4, and today is a special program looking at Gencon 2021. And when we say looking at, do we really mean that? Well, Lipstickpaddy's got his gloves off and he's ready for the fight to tell you all about why this year was a huge disappointment, what he's calling an epic fail. So Lipstickpaddy, please take it away. Well, good evening, peeps. I'm in the studio alone on Sunday night here, and I'm going to be talking about Gencon 2021 here. My goodness, was it one massive disappointment for me. Not because Gencon itself was bad, it looked really great, but just because of the coverage of all the YouTubers. Where was the journalists? Oh my god, it was like rubbing a rock trying to get blood from them. Depending on your perspective. Of course, there's people talking about it like how different it was, blah blah blah. We know how different it was. Half the people there, not as many games there, more vendors than normal. You could sum it up in that one quick sentence. Nerd Immersion here, fantastic for the D&D community. He had interviews, but only really what you could talk about in his studio here. He's a one-man band and he did incredibly well. But for the board gamers out there, who did we have? Now, I'm just going to sort this by the view counts so we can see what was popular. Games that are coming out at Gencon. Well, that's like an anticipated list. And all the anticipated lists, for how good they were, they're just still anticipated because the games that everyone was looking forward to, no one really covered them at all. I had, was it 11, 12, 13 games I was looking forward to, and only really one of them got covered properly. I'll talk about that as we go forward. Now, the Fancy Flight one wasn't at Gencon. In fact, this could have been streamed just like they're doing the monthly streams at Final Fantasy. They basically just said there's stuff coming in the future, but we're kind of not got anything to show per se. In other words, no actual things to show you, just promises for the future. That sums up that. What is Gencon? It's the biggest conference of the year for board games, especially when it comes to learning about new board games. Yeah, Essen is almost a massive conference where it's a shop. Yeah, Gencon's different. Gencon is showing you new stuff. It's that big, it's got shops as well, yeah. It's that big, yeah, it does stuff for roleplay. Yeah, it's that big, it does stuff for LARP people, which is live action roleplay. Pretending you're the character that you are, you know, you're a wizard, you pretend you are that wizard. Anyway, banned from Gencon, so politics getting in the way, anticipated list, oh my god, all this stuff. You can see people were like looking forward to getting in. This thing, by the way, banned from Gencon. I've got to say though, that the guy in question isn't innocent before guilty, and I really hope that that guy sues the pants off people that have been getting, because this woke community that have basically trying to character assassinate this guy. So yeah, expect some sues going out there from that is what I expect. Now, I'm going to put filters for this week, get rid of these anticipated ones. Now, ManVsMeeple, they have been covering, as we can see here, Day 1, Part 1, Day 1, Part 2. But I felt that ManVsMeeple were deliberately scheduling these 12 hours apart so that they could breathe on YouTube and get more numbers out there. You can see evidence of this because they're at the top of this list here. They scheduled them this way. But you only schedule stuff to get stuff out there if you want YouTube to understand what the video is. But everyone's searching for Gencon 2021, so you're going to come up in the list anyway, and most people are going to go filter and search from today's video, so they really didn't need to do this. This, at the end of the day, what they're doing is just to get more views. But if they wanted more subscribers, what they should have been doing is doing as many videos as they could have done on each day. Then we could have looked at those anticipated game lists, and looked at what ManVsMeeple could have been doing, and it would have been great, because they had it here, but they thought, no, we'll just do 7-minute sections, and we'll schedule it over the course of the next week for content. Well, this is like, something that they should not have done, in my opinion, right? But anyway, we're going to get these diaries going forward. Fancy Flight, obviously lots of people got online and talking about what they said, but it was basically a nothing burger. There's nothing coming out. Anyway, the Unfathomable, I think, has been delayed until next year, and the big takeaway from Unfathomable is it's a 3-hour game. So even though it's the reskin of Battlestar Galactica, they've not made it any faster. It's still 3 hours. Oh my god! And that's a team of people that know how to play it. That's even worse, isn't it? So it could be a 4-hour if you're teaching. Nerd Immersion here for the WizKids and D&D stuff. Really cool information. He was by far one of the top YouTube people that were covering the conference. Now, obviously, Paizo are going to have going to be big as well. Paizo are basically do their own type of D&D. So this is role-playing stuff. Where's the board game stuff? This is what is killing me. The board game stuff. Nellie's Nerdy Adventure. She is just a lady that comes to Gencon, and she just does like a vlog. She did better videos than everybody of the show floor. Now, Bauer's Game Corner, poor man on his own. I honestly think he's a hero for what he did, because it was like he was doing something new, trying to do live stream from Gencon, but the coverage in the audience was like terrible. The quality of the internet was lowering his quality down to like something like 480p, and you just couldn't see anything properly. And then when he was getting interviews, he didn't have an external mic, so you couldn't hear what they were doing in the interviews. It was a bit of a mess. And of course, it wasn't cut up and edited either, because Bauer himself was doing an evening live stream. If I was Bauer, I would have not done anything in the evening but edit my videos and make sure they got up as soon as possible so people could see what I was doing. But I don't think people want live stuff. If you look at like GameSpot and IGN when they cover E3, certainly historically, they've always only had sections where it has been live. Look, they'll cut to the guy live on the show as everybody else is going to the toilet, kind of thing, because they understand as a media channel that people don't want live at the show all the time, because very little information you can get of someone just walking around. So we want hard information, right? We want information that can help us factor in our budgets for buying retail or Kickstarter games going forward. Now, as we go down here, was BGG, first of all, let's just tackle this thing. I'll talk about that in a minute. Roll for Crit, they're on the floor too. I'm just going to go to the channel. They did Floodgate games, Funko games. This was like good stuff, but where's the other stuff? Like, you're doing the food truck experience. Get to the anticipated game list and do the interviews and get the demos of the games. Oh my god, roll for crit. You missed the trick. You missed the trick. I'm like banging my head against the wall here. Is it not blatantly obvious what us viewers actually want from Gen Con if we can't go there? Let's just go to BGG. Now we're at BGG, and I'm banned from this place, by the way, because I was doing forums. I'm talking in the forums, and when people were asking questions, I said, "Oh, I did a video on this," and I would put my external web link in the forums, and it was such a horrendous breakage of the law that they permanently banned me. And anyone from my station, there's 4 of us here, anybody from the station posting here as the station gets banned. So it wasn't, they didn't ban me as a person, but my whole YouTube station. Oh, BGG, you are the worst. With that banhammer of yours. There's a video coming about that in the future. Maybe next weekend. Anyway, BGG, like, any information here about Gencon? 0 for the hero. Talking about Origins. BGG at sea. Yeah, they've got a cruise ship. How exciting. New games released. We're in September now, by the way. This is old news. Spieleshara, this is old news. The hotness, not even getting... This should be full of BGG games that people were looking at. We've got nothing here. Any of these games on the show floor, none of these games were pinging because of videos, because BGG, first of all, weren't there, and secondly, BGG could have... There were 2 people from BGG on the floor. They could have given them a camera and gone round doing videos and had content for us. It was an epic fail from BGG. I even think they could have sponsored people on the ground with a cam. For example, Bowers Gaming. Just give him some money to cover some of these games on people's hot list. Drives me bonkers. It's like it's completely ignoring... Just go to the dash here. Completely ignoring that it's there. I mean, look, an advert Gencon release here. I mean, it's just epic fail. Oh my god, man. But I don't know why they didn't do something for BGG. And in fact, when I used to be a member of BGG, the only reason to give them money every year was because of the Gencon coverage, which was phenomenally good. But look, just not there. Let me just go and talk about the Dice Tower. Now, the Dice Tower, they are the biggest YouTubers on the planet for board games. Are they? Shut up and sit down. I think they're bigger. Anyway, the Dice Tower were at Gencon, of course. They had most of the team, including the editors there. They could have took one man with a camera and one man doing the interviews, or even just one manned it and done the videos. Because BGG weren't there. This was the year to pick up the slack from them. And it would have been amazing if we got these with Tom or Z actually doing the questions at these demos. It drives me crazy that the Dice Tower had the team there and they didn't even have the anticipation to make it feel like Gencon needs proper coverage for board gamers, because it's just so disappointing that this celebration of the weekend has just been destroyed because of people's complacency of going into Gencon. Tom Vassell himself said he's not live streaming his event at Gencon this year because setting up a live stream is too difficult. He sounds like he's, you know, it doesn't sound like it's his job when he says that. It's like he's volunteering for a charity and someone asks him to do something. Oh, it's too difficult to do. Actually, Tom, we're not interested in the live. We just want it covered. Just film it, edit it, slap it on YouTube. Bang, done. It's so simple. And instead of pumping these videos out, I think your channel could have had so much Gencon coverage of all these games. You just need one man on a camera. You can do it like Forrest Bowers does, and done it properly. I just think with the team at the Dice Tower and the fact that it was so quiet compared to normal, they certainly could have had people out on the floor doing stuff. And don't tell me that Z and Tom were out there doing interviews and talking behind closed doors with publishers, because that does nothing for us, the viewer, does it? In fact, you're only reviewing stuff when it gets to the Dice Tower Studios. Oh, I learnt about this game in Gencon such and such a year. That's irrelevant information because you're reviewing it on the game that's produced now. It doesn't matter of how that game was produced or how it was going through development over the last 3 years. That is so irrelevant when you're reviewing a game that you have the retail box with you. Drives me crackers that they think that it's so important to go to these media events. It's crackers. Your YouTube channel's so big, all these publishers would be sending their games to you anyway. In fact, they often send the designer to do the playthroughs with you. Oh, it just kills me. Let's go to Bowers, the hero of Gencon. Right, here we are, Bowers Game Corner. Heroic live streams from Gencon. Oh, it almost felt like a Beavis in Butthead solo rendition. Because he's on his own, he's usually a two-man crew, and again, the technology was making up those accidents just with Wi-Fi making it terrible. He was making these 15, 16 second YouTube shorts which are terrible. You can do a whole 60 seconds. It's like someone told him that shorts need to be 60 seconds and he didn't hear 60, he heard 16. So we were getting 16 seconds. And I was commenting in his videos, dude, get them to 60 seconds. These are terrible. And yeah, when he got like these 50-second ones, they were kind of interesting, but yeah, he's trying to do YouTube shorts as if that's what we wanted. I would have preferred a 5-minute walk around the tour in detail, getting some detailed look of these boards, possibly getting an interview. And Bowers normally gets interviews with these anyway and gets at least a demo in, right? Now, let's have a look. I mean, you can see here there's a lot of stuff that I haven't watched because it's looking at a cookie. It's looking at a hatchet. It's like, it's too short. I know I'm not probably going to get information out of these short things. I did look at the Gencon booth tour here, but there's another YouTuber that interviews Cephilar Games here. Anyway, I'm trying to get to the one video. Yeah, Necromulds. He thinks this is like the game of the year just because of its uniqueness. The Kickstarter that I think I covered there last year is looking very, very cool. You know, they have this at the Dice Tower and they've not reviewed it. I think they need to do a Radho poll with its viewers to see which games get reviewed, seeing as they have a big stack of games to review at the Dice Tower. And it's like these people have forgot that they are there because of the viewers. You watching this have got them where they are today, and they just not interested in serving you. Here it is, the interview with Key to the Kingdom. Absolutely incredible. This is a 4-minute video. This is what we should be getting at Gencon. Let's have a look at this video. Now this game was on my hot list coming in because it looks like a phenomenal retail from Restoration Games. I'm just gonna, if you look at the board here, the actual board opens up. So the board you're playing with at the beginning actually opens up where you're on almost a different board now than what you started on. And then there's another board when you fight the boss. It's board, but it actually looks nice and fun and simple. It's like an hour, and you've got dice mitigation by adding your equipment here, for example. You've got a sword that can add +1 to your dice if you need a higher dice roll on the objective. It looks super, super cool. Board looks really, really fresh. This is looking super cool. It's already bloody sold out online for pre-orders. Not coming out till 2022, unfortunately, but it's definitely at the top of my list. But look what we're getting here from a one-man show. We're getting the demo as if you're at the show of something that many people are anticipating, this game. And there's loads of games on the anticipation list. In the past, you could have said to Bauer, go and check this game out at the con and drop the booth, but it was just impossible because here, look, he's actually got a mic for this. Where did the mic come from, Bowers? He actually started doing these things on this day, but he didn't carry it on. He could have had 50 games from anticipated list and done them like this, and he would have had a lot of love and a lot of subscribers coming in, because these videos are going to bring subscribers, and there's going to be a little bit of love in the comments because they're covering these games, right, that we are all looking forward to. But we didn't get that, did we? We got the super long hour live stream things which didn't even have show notes to flick through what he's doing, so they were kind of awkward to watch. You've got to like flick through them. And we only got a few booth tours and interviews, which was unfortunate because in these pictures here you can see his boom mic that he has here, but he only did a few games. Look, only a few games, and he was there for 4 days. Oh, like, what's going on? Oh my goodness. I'm going to leave on this video. This is coming to Kickstarter next year, and it's a super early prototype. You can see here it's like a car battler, but just looking at this prototype and how it's going to look, it basically, I can see from this test here that it's not going to replace Apocalypse Road from GMT on the P500 for me, because that's just a superior game. This is looking more retail. It's coming to Kickstarter, yes, so it might jazz itself up, but we'll just see. But at the minute, it's not threatening Apocalyptic Road? Apocalypse Road? What's it called? Apocalypse Road from GMT? That's the best kind of track game where you fire missiles at each other. It really is super cool. But this is what we should have been seeing. We should have been seeing loads of these fantastic shots of games like... Look at the camera angles Bauer's at here. Just incredible. And we're getting the full booth tour that he could have done also. And here he's getting the demo of how the game works. It does sound fun. And you might know the actual person who's doing this demo here is famous for doing historical board games like from 1980 and 90 on the Dice Tower. It's actually good to see him working with Restoration Games. I don't know if he's working with them now, actually, but that's a really cool job if he did get it there. But mega disappointing. BGG couldn't be arsed doing it. Had 2 people there. Just enjoy yourself. We're not covering it. Feck them. Feck our viewers. Feck all the board game fans that want to know about all the latest games and the super cool games coming out in 2022. Just ignore them. That's the attitude. Dice Tower just did their normal self, and I really hope that on the next Dice Tower Kickstarter they have a stretch goal where they'll take Tom and Z on a camera out doing this kind of coverage for Gencon, because it's just not good enough to have a booth tour to meet your fans, Dice Tower, because your fans of Dice Tower have tons of stuff. You've got Dice Tower West, East, a cruise ship with Dice Tower people on, the retreat. It's so much time for your fans of YouTube to actually get on and meet you that you've certainly got time at Gencon to go around looking at prototypes like this and getting the explanation from these publishers. Oh my god. If this happened in the video game industry, that a physical E3, which is going to be 2022, and there was no GameSpot or IGN there would be blood on the walls, people, if they didn't cover it, because it's an essential part of the Gencon experience or any convention where they're showing games of the future. Colour me angry, people. It was an epic fail from all the big YouTube channels, this Gencon, with just 0 for the hero coverage over the weekend. Oh, just thinking about it boils my blood, people. You got all that bloody budget and they couldn't even cover it. And we had Bowers, one man on his shop floor, actually nailing an interview there for Key to the Kingdom, which was fantastic. That was a pure example of what we should have had through the whole of Gencon. Oh my god, epic fail, peoples. Epic fails. Let me know in the comments what you thought about the coverage of Gencon this year. And I really mean over the weekend. If you're watching this video in the week, we might be getting videos the week after Gencon telling us all about it and showing us more interviews and booth tours, but that is kind of late, isn't it? Isn't it late? Certainly on this channel, when we put our focus back onto Kickstarter coming Monday, so we can take our eyes away from Gencon. And yeah, what do you think of it though? Do you really think they could have stepped up to the plate and done some coverage? Would you have appreciated if these big channels did cover it like I'm saying, like Bowers did? Do you really think they could have stepped up to the plate, and do you think they need to do this in the future for the viewers of board games coming in? Because I know a lot of people coming into board gaming are coming in from the video industry, and to see the biggest conference disrespected, neglected, laziness of covering the next big games coming out just makes the industry look so amateur and even novice at times of how it looks. It's just disgusting. Is the only professionalism we're getting these days on Kickstarter? Because that is what it feels like to me. Please let your thoughts be known in the comments down there. Please give the video a thumbs up if you like the content. And if you like Kickstarter games, think about subscribing and all that stuff, as we love covering Kickstarter games and all other board games that really tickle our fancy. Well, let's hope Gencon 2022 gets better coverage than 2021, which was anemic to say the least. Until next time, peeps, I've been your host, Lipstickpaddy. You've been listening to Kickstarter Radio 102.4. You take care, stay safe, and bye-bye for now.